If a married person has a one-night stand during a separation, is that considered cheating? My best and dearest friend Taylor, 30F, bless her, has been married to Jim, 37M, for 5 years now as it stands. I won't go into too much detail, but in their second year of marriage, Jim hit rock bottom in more ways than one and got consumed in substance addiction, which resulted in him losing his job and himself. After staying by his side for over a year through the addiction, trying to help rehabilitate him unsuccessfully, raising their kid, working a full-time job, all while trying to stay sane. In their third, going on fourth year of marriage, Taylor had decided it was enough. She packed her bags, took their kid and came to stay at my place for 2/3 weeks while she gathered herself. It was clear that she had made up her mind. She was done with Jim, she was done with the marriage, and to prove to herself that she was really done this time, she went out to make herself feel better, met up with an old fling while out, went back to his place and, yeah, you know how it goes. She comes back to mine early the next morning, all smiles. Girl is freaking glowing and so happy with herself and not at all in regret about what she had just done. Fast forward a week later, Jim shows up at my door begging and pleading Taylor for another chance, promises her the world and goes on to say how her leaving with their kid made him wake up and realize that he was about to lose his family, which prompted his decision to get clean and yada yada yada. Taylor listens to everything he has to say and sends him on his way. She does eventually go back a few days later, and I want to say that they worked things out, but the truth is that he convinced her to stay for the sake of their family. Now they're in their 5th year of marriage and things are, in Taylor's words, far from perfect but significantly better. Now the dilemma in question is, does Jim have the right to know what Taylor did while they were separated, potentially ruining their healed relationship and Jim's progress? And is what she did even considered cheating under the circumstances? I have my own, biased, thoughts and opinions of course, but I was curious as to what other, non-biased, opinions might have to add. My classmate sometimes is a bit rude to me, yet he gifted me flowers. I'm doing my master's degree. One of the few guys in the class, Randall, is very well liked. But even though I tried to talk to him at the beginning of our program, he definitely seemed to prefer talking to other people over me. And I was fine with that. I admit that I am kind of a recluse. When I do speak in public, I'm often stammering and slurring my words. Not to mention, I'm just kind of ditzy. We barely talked for the first 4 months. There was one instance where he was kind to me at a time when he didn't need to be. Once after class, some of our friends wanted to go to a nearby market. I stayed standing where I was, but no one noticed except him. But we grew a little bit closer after our shared hatred for one of our professors. He'd help me with my homework sometimes. And we didn't make a little jokes here and there. We'd often leave class together, along with another girl. That being said, he's been unkind to me at times. In one instance, he went over during lunch to talk to one of our classmates. And I walked over to the two of them. He then sighed and told our friend, "Yeah, go with my name," and left. Another time, we were all studying for a midterm. He asked one of our friends the answer to a question. I tried giving him one, to be fair, it was incorrect. He looked at me and then looked away and continued asking our friend. I know he's not a mean person, but again he's been unkind to me when I don't really think he needed to be. So it really surprised me that he agreed to come to my birthday party. And he gave me a beautiful bouquet of flowers. He was the very first to come and amongst the very last to leave. I don't really know what this means. I wonder if maybe he feels bad for how he treated me, so this is kind of his way of showing me that he does care? TLDR, he gave me flowers for my birthday, but in the past he's ignored me and gotten upset when I came into the conversation. Story 3. I want my best friend to break up with his partner. One of my closest friends is in a relationship for almost 6 months now. This is the first time he is in a real relationship in his life. I was so happy for him when he told me about it. He deserves nothing but the best. Initially, he was happy in the relationship. I have never seen him so happy before. But for the last 1 or 2 months, he has been feeling very misunderstood in the relationship. After countless conversations and communication with his partner over the last 2 months, things have not changed. And I can see both of them are miserable. They know they don't have a future together because their families will never accept their relationship. They knew their relationship has an expiry date the day they started dating. But my friend has never been loved by someone romantically before, so he really fell for his partner. He tried his best to be the best boyfriend, he still is, and I have seen the man put in so much effort in the relationship. But now for him the relationship feels like a chore. He knows his efforts are not being reciprocated and he is losing interest. He is miserable in this relationship. I can see it. But he still wants to be in this relationship because he has never been loved before. I feel like one day, 5 years from now or maybe 10 years from now when they will have to break up, he will be so burnt out from being in the relationship that he will not be able to function properly. I want him to break up but he says he doesn't because he has never been loved by someone before. I don't know what to do. Story 4. I went through my boyfriend's phone after he got mugged. I, 26M, went through my boyfriend's 36M phone after he got mugged. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3.5 years. He works for an airline and frequently has trips that take him out of the country. I don't mind this because it was understood when we started dating that he would have to travel internationally, which usually meant he was gone for 3/4 days. Well, one of his trips took him to Belgium, not somewhere I would automatically think of as dangerous, but one night during his trip he went out with his fellow flight attendants and got drunk. At some point during the night he got separated from his friends and had his wallet and phone stolen. When he got back to the hotel, he called me from his Apple Watch crying, telling me what just happened. I went into defense mode, asked if he was okay, and offered to go into his iPad, which was at home, to mark the phone as lost/stolen so no one else could use it. He gave me the password and I disabled the phone from the iPad. Afterwards, we hung up. It was late and he had a flight the next day, and my curiosity got the best of me. I went the Messages app to see if he had been talking to anyone else, which I had expected. I found out from Messages he has been cheating on me for over 2 years, having even brought people into our apartment while I was at work. I don't know how to feel. Part of me knew inside something was up, another part of me feels angry for having ignored my feelings all this time. This is the first long-term relationship I'd ever had, the first time I've ever lived with someone. I feel betrayed. He has been with several people over the last couple of years, meanwhile we have not been intimate with each other in almost the same amount of time. He told me, I'm dealing with health problems, or, I just feel self-conscious about myself. Meanwhile, he has been hooking up with other people the entire time. AITA for going through his messages? It's not something I'd normally do, but I did and my hunches were correct.